Hello everybody, this is Professor R.M. Mahendrakar from JSS Arts, Science and Commerce College, Gokak. Biodiversity loss is one of the world's most pressing crises, with many species declining to critically low levels and with significant number going extinct. At the same time, there is growing awareness of how biodiversity supports human livelihood. Hence, government and civil society have responded to this challenge by setting up clear conservation targets. The Convention of Biological Diversities held by all the leaders of the nation in 2010 have altogether resolved to reduce the current rate of biodiversity loss. In this context, the IUCN, that is the International Union for Conservation of Nature, and the Red List of Threatened Species, which is thereafter known as the IUCN Red List, has come into action in the drive to tackle the extinction crisis by providing essential information on the state of wild species and trends in wild species. The IUCN Red List is the world's most comprehensive information source on the global conservation status of plants and animal species. It is updated annually and is freely available online at the website, that is iucnredlist.org. This Red Data book, which is now commonly known as, is a public document which is created for recording endangered and rare species of plants, animals, and fungi. Microbes are not included. The Red Data book helps us in providing complete information for research studies and also for monitoring the program on the rare and endangered species and their habitat. This book is created to identify and protect the species that are at the verge of becoming extinct. Now let us study some of the importance of the IUCN Red List. Means how IUCN Red List helps us. First, it helps us to analyze the overall status of biodiversity and how it is changing over time. Second, it helps us to analyze how the status of biodiversity varies between regions, countries, and subnational areas. Third, it helps us to analyze the rate at which the biodiversity is being lost. Fourth, it helps us to analyze in which region biodiversity is being lost most rapidly. Then it also helps us to analyze what are the main factors for the decline and loss of biodiversity. Then sixth, it helps us to analyze the effectiveness and the impact of conservation activities taken. The IUCN Red List or the Red Data book, it contains 9 groups. Means all those animals which were earlier present on planet Earth but now they have become extinct. That is, they are no more on this land. So such plant and animal species are included under this group, extinct. The second is extinct in wild. These are the plants and animal species which are not at all recorded in the wild condition, but they have been able to survive in captivity. So those plants and animal species which are now available only in captivity but are extinct in the wild, they are grouped in this second group, that is extinct in wild. The third is critically endangered. These are extremely high risk of extinction in the wild. Means all those plants and animal species which are facing the risk of extinction within the near future are grouped under this category, that is critically endangered. Then endangered species. These are also at high risk of extinction in the wild. Then the next group is the vulnerable group. Means these groups are at uh, a mid-range risk of extinction in wild. The next is the near threatened group. Now this group includes all those plants and animal species which may become endangered in the near future. The seventh group is the least concern group. Means these plants and animals are at lowest risk. They do not qualify for a more at-risk category, and they are widespread and abundant taxa is available on planet Earth. Then the eighth group is data deficient. These are the plant groups or animal groups or the species of organisms where we don't have enough data to assess its risk of extinction. Then the ninth group is not evaluated. Now these are the plants and animal species who are not yet evaluated against any criteria of the red data. Now all these 9 groups, they have specific color codes. Now the extinct and extinct in wild, their color code is black. The critically endangered, their color code is pink. Endangered species, their color code is red. Vulnerable species, their color code is amber. Not threatened, these are having the color code green. Least concern, they have the color code blue. And data deficit and not evaluated, they have got this white color codes. Now the risk of extinction increases from LC to EX. That is, if proper care of these least concerned species are not taken, then in near future even they may try to become extinct. Now all these 9 categories are grouped into 3 subgroups. The critically endangered, endangered and vulnerable, they are grouped under the threatened group. The non-threatened and least concern, they are grouped under not threatened. Then the data deficit and the not evaluated, these are grouped under the unknown group. Now these are some of the parameters by which we classify the plant species or animal species as critically endangered or endangered and vulnerable. Now, what are critically endangered species? These are the plant and animal species which are extremely high risk of extinction in the wild in immediate future. And their population reduction is almost 80% compared to the last 10 years or 3 generations, whichever is earlier. And the number of matured individuals in this critically endangered are only 250, and the probability of extinction is at least 50% within 10 years or 5 years generation. Now endangered species, these are at a very high risk of extinction in the near future, and here the population reduction is about 50% over the last 10 years. And the number of the matured individuals are around 2,500, and the probability of extinction is at least 20% within 20 years or 5 generations, whichever is longer. Then vulnerable species, these are
also at high risk of extinction in the wild in the medium term future, and the population reduction is around 20% over the last 10 years, and the number of mature individuals are around 10,000 and more, and the probability of extinction is at least 10% within 100 years. So these are the criteria taken into estimation whether the species is critically endangered, endangered and vulnerable. Now in the red data book, the pink pages include all the critically endangered species. As the status of the species changes, new pages are sent to the subscribers. The green pages are used for those species which were formerly endangered, but now they have recovered to a point where they are no longer. So now let us see some of the endemic and endangered plant species of India. Now this plant is Cuptis theta. This is found in the Dibang Valley and Anjav Valley of Arunachal Pradesh. Now this is a medicinal plant. It is having a high medicinal value. Now this plant is Riham nobile. This is also found at the foothills of Himalayas. The stems of the green leaves are edible and it is too pleasant to eat, and hence the plant is now endangered in the wild. Now this plant is Hoya vigti. Now this is distributed in the Idukki, Kannur, Thiruvananthapuram, Palakkad, Wayanad district of Kerala. It is vulnerable and endemic species of Western Ghats of Tamil Nadu and India. Now this is Elstonia Venenetta. It is also called as the poison devil's tree. The roots and fruits are believed to be useful for skin diseases, leprosy, cobra and other venomous bites. Now this plant is Venda coeruleum. Now this is a blue venda. It is also known as the autumn's lady tresses orchid, and it is the most popular Asiatic orchid. Now this also is another orchid which is found in the Himalayan regions and Southeast Asia. It is called this Coelogyne nitida, and they are usually harvested for the flowers. Now this also is a orchid. It is an exotic orchid, and it is found in Asia. It is found in the southern China, Taiwan, Bhutan, Arunachal Pradesh, Assam, etc. And because of this exotic uh, flower, it has become vulnerable. Now this Cymbidium tigrinum. Now this is a really compact small Cymbidium species from India. The tuberous bulbs are fat egg-like, and the flowers are exotic and they are harvested for the flowers. Now this is another endemic and endangered plant species of India. It is called Phoenix rupicola. Now it is a palm which grows in the forest of India and Bhutan, about 300 to 1,200 meters high hilly areas. It is threatened by habitat loss in its native range. Now, Aldrovenda Vesiculosa, this is a hydrophyte. It is an insectivorous plant. It is also commonly known as water wheel plant. It attracts the insects and means aquatic insects and eat just like this Venus flytrap. Now, this is a plant, a mango plant belonging to family Anacardiaceae. Its name is this Mangifera sylvatica. It is found in the Himalayan region. It is known as Himalayan mango, Nepal mango, and pickling mango. Now, uh, it is also found in Bangladesh, Cambodia, China, and some parts of Nepal, Bhutan, and Thailand. This is also an endangered species of India. Now this is Clematis Theobromine. Now this is known as Wednesday wildflower, or it's also commonly called as old man's beard. It is also one of the endangered endemic plant of India. Now this Citrulus colocynthus. This is a cucurbita plant. It is commonly known as the bitter apple or bitter cucumber, desert cucumber, etc. It is usually found distributed in desert areas and it is having high medicinal value. Now, this plant is Kalanthae Alpine. It is located at Sikkim, Himalaya, and it is a terrestrial orchid which is endemic to India and it is endangered species. Now this is Barbarous Asiatica. As the name suggests, it is endemic only to these Himalayas in India and Nepal. This plant is also having many medicinal uses. It is used in treating ulcers, urethral discharge, then jaundice, fevers, etc. Now this plant species is called the Arundina chinensis. It's also commonly called as the bamboo orchid. It is harvested for this flower. It is endemic to India. It is found growing in the Himalayan regions along the Indo-China border and it is now a threatened species. Now we shall see some of the endangered animal species of India. Now this is Jenkins Andaman and Nicobar shrimp. Now this is Salim Ali's bat. It is endemic to southern India. It is medium sized and has no external tail, and because of the loss of habitat, its population is decreasing in the Western Ghats. Now this is the leaf-nosed bat. Its scientific name is Hipposordiaris hypophilus. Now it is found only in one cave in Hanumanahalli village in Kolar district. It is also known as the Kolar bat and it is critically endangered species. Now this is the Wrongton's free-tail bat, whose scientific name is this Otomops botong. It is having a free tail as you can see in the image there, and it is found in the Western Ghat of India, and it has been recently discovered in northeast India and in remote parts of Cambodia. It is also an endangered plant species, animal species. Now this is the lion-tail macaw. Now its name is because of the tail you see. The tail resembles that of a lion and hence the name. It is the most threatened primate in the rainforest of these Nilgiris. This is Malabar spotted civet. Its scientific name is Vivera civetiana, also known as the Malabar civet. It is endemic to the Western Ghats of India. It is known as Kannan Chandu and Malay Meru in Kerala. It is critically endangered species. Now this is the Kondana soft-furred rat. This large soft-furred rat is only known from Singhur, a small plateau of about 1 square kilometer at 1,270 meters altitude in southwest India. It is also a critically endangered species. The Nilgiri Langur is a species of primate and found in Nilgiri hills of the Western Ghat in South India. This species of monkey has various common names like the black leaf monkey, Indian hooded leaf monkey. It is placed on the International Union for Conservation of Nature and Natural Resources red list as vulnerable. This wonderfully peculiar Nymphoda flying squirrel is the only species in the genus Bishwamoyopterus. The Nymphoda flying squirrel is listed as critically endangered by IUCN. In the district of Idukki, Irvakulam near Munnar is the home for this Nilgiri tar. The tar that exist in the high range in Kerala are friendly lot. According to the report, the tar appears to have roamed at will in the vast herds all over the grassy uplands of the Nilgiri Plateau. By closing years of the 19th century, uncontrolled hunting and poaching has, however, reduced the tar to such an extent that it has now become endangered species. Well, these are some of the few endemic, endangered, and critically endangered plant and animal species that I could bring to you. There are a large number of such endangered species which you can know through the link that has been provided earlier, that is the iucnredlist.org. Visit that list and try to see in your locality also which are the endemic and endangered plant and animal species and try to conserve them. So let us all join hands and try to save all these endemic endangered species of India and give our bit to make our country a large mega biodiversity reserve. So thank you all for your patience hearing.